the majority of our sales comes through our site itself. Now, maybe some of you already have a site, some of you have not, but I think this is going to be important for you. It could be different from you as well. Maybe some of you do not actually convert sales on your site itself. You convert through instant messaging or calling. But for us, a majority of our sales come through our site, and that's what makes it so important to have a website today. And plus, one of the best reasons to have a website today is so you can track your users. And tracking your users and knowing data tells you so much about your users and tells you so much about what you can do and what you can do, what kind of marketing you can do to get more of these users. All right, so today I'm going to introduce you to Google Analytics. Quick question here: who has not used Google Analytics? It's okay if you don't use it. Today we're going to go into it and I'm going to show you how to use it. It's one of the best tools on the internet. All right, so Google Analytics is the only tool that you need to use for web analytics. All right, now let me just show you a quick window of Google Analytics. But I don't want to show you, and I want to show you how to install it later on. Okay, so I'm going to stop my screen share. I'm going to share my desktop right now. Okay, so we're here on my desktop, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight into Google Analytics. And the way you can do that is to go into just search for Google Analytics. It's really easy. You find this online. I hope most of you have already installed it. Now, Google Analytics is exciting. It shouldn't be boring at all. It should be exciting when you have data to play around. All right? So if you're new for the first time, you would have to log in. It's free, don't worry. And I'm just going to show you how to set this thing up. So if you have Google Analytics, you will see this on your screen. This is what you'll see when you just sign up for the first time. All right, it's empty. And basically, your reports will be on the left here. Let me know if I'm moving too fast, yeah? So on the left here, we have 5 kind of reports: real-time, audience, acquisition, behavior, and conversions, right? Nothing too complex. Now, one of the most important things is to go inside here. I'm just going to show you something here. Audience. And then if you go to, let's say, let me just go into acquisition, and go into all traffic, and then we're going to go into maybe channels, for example. Okay. Now, inside here, you'll be able to see data of your users who visited your website. That makes sense. All right. So Google Analytics is a platform for you to actually track what happens on your site, what are users doing on your site, how do they come on your site itself, and then how you can actually leverage on this data to create better marketing decisions and basically conversions at the end of the day. All right, so let me just show you something that's live here. I think looking at something which is empty is a bit boring. Let me show you some live data. And when I show you live data, it gets exciting, right? So when it comes to a site like this, is one of my sites. All right, for the past 6 days, this is basically the amount of visitors I have on the site itself. So you can see from here, this report tells us that organic search, we have 13,000 people who entered the site. Direct means they type in on your URL, as in they go to the browser, type www.mysitename.com, right? Social means social media like Facebook, like a few other things. Referral means they come from another site, right? Maybe from justin.com, and then they click into my site. That's a referral. So from here, we can start to analyze the amount of people that come to our site and make some very interesting things to see. So 2 things you need to understand from now here is we have dimensions and metrics. All right. Now, if that sounds confusing to you, don't worry. I'll draw this out for you. It's really, really simple. Follow me here. So this is known as dimensions. And this up here is known as your metrics. Okay. These are the 2 things you just have to understand in Google Analytics. So this is called dimensions. So dimensions are basically the grouping of things, right? And the metrics is basically numbers. So you can see that numbers would be all these things here. These are all the numbers, right? And these are the dimension that tell us what these numbers are. All right, there's 2 things: dimension and metrics. Metrics, I think that right or wrong. Metric. METRIC, metrics. Okay, so 2 things, yeah? Numbers, metrics. Keep that in mind. Just go to sleep and tell yourself that numbers, metric, dimension, metrics. Okay, can? All right, so these are the 2 things you need to understand, and we're going to go into more of that later on. All right, so this is how Google Analytics look like. And one very interesting thing is you can also see what's happening right now in real time. You can see this is real time. Real time means right now on the site itself. So right now on the site itself, I can see that we have people visiting right now. We have 10 people right now on the site itself. Which page are they on? Okay, and where are they from? So we can see that, we have people from, where's this? This is, now we have one. Most of them have left. We have someone from Midland, not Midlands in Penang, but Midlands, right? So here we can start to see people who are visiting our site, okay? We can see that this is Midland, this is Cronulla, where is this? Scarborough, Liverpool in London, North Tustin. We also have Bandung, Indonesia, right? Okay, so if you get confused, this is the site I'm talking about. This site is called Audio Mentor. I just want to show you this site so you don't get confused. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at people who are visiting my site right now on this site here. This site, audiomentor.com, right? So I'm looking at real-time data of people who have visited the site. Okay, we have also people from PJ, that would be probably me. All right, so if you have your Google Analytics set up, this is what you should expect to see. I won't go through too deep into this one. You'll get back to this later on. Okay? Now, next thing to do is, I know some of you have not set up your Google Analytics before. So I'm going to show you how to set up Google Analytics for the first time, and then to start seeing data within your Google Analytics. Now, if you have a website today, if you have a landing page today, you can follow through these steps and do the exact same thing. I'm going to create a new account for this session. Okay, so I'll click on admin. I'm going to click on create account. See that? And I'm going to create an account for one of my test websites. All right. So this site is going to be called the MREP. The MREP. Let's say I call this Digital Kit. Yeah, MREP Digital Kit session. So I know that I'm creating another account for one of my sites. Now, you would have to actually share your data. The more you share, the more kind of tools you can use actually. So if you are sensitive to these kind of things, go through them and see what you can share, what you don't want to share. But for now, I'm just going to share everything here. I think that's fine. Right, next. Now, we're going to choose measure your website, because right now we're going to track visitors on the website. And I'm going to choose the web. If you run an app, you can choose app. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to choose on next. Let me know if I'm going too fast. All right, so website name, I'm going to call this the MREP Digital Kit Training. And I'm going to use this site. Let me show you the site first. It's called the MREP. It's basically a blog that I put up for test purposes, right? So I'm going to use this site. The site is extremely slow, so I hope it loads fast enough in this session. So this is a site. It's basically a WordPress site. Very boring, nothing much inside here. And I'm using this just to actually show you how to do things. All right, so let's say you're going to put in analytics into this website. So how do we do that, right? Now, I'm going to go back to my analytics account. So the website URL would be that website URL, which is the MREP. Okay, it has HTTPS. And then in the industry, I'm going to choose, this is the beauty and fitness industry, because this blog is about fitness, it's about exercising, all right? Okay, so reporting time zone is really important because you want to see data in your time zone. So the numbers are correct. So Malaysia, and once you're happy with that, click on create. Now, when it comes to this kind of place here, you have to choose Malaysia and agree with the terms. If you want to use Google Analytics, you have to actually agree with this one. Now, I'm not an expert of knowing what is inside here. You should consult a lawyer if you want to go through every single thing. I'm just going to click on accept. Okay? All right, so once you're done with this, you come to this page here. All right? Now, on this page here, you see that, we have tracking ID. Do you see that here? Tracking ID. Which is this ID. So this ID is like your IC number for your Google Analytics. It's like your identity card for your Google Analytics. And then we have one more tracking here called Google JavaScript tracking, right? This is basically a JavaScript tag, a code that you can put on your site. All right. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to actually put this into my website. So I'm going to show you two ways of doing it. So the first way is I'm going to put it into this site itself, the mrep.com. So how do we do that? Right? Now, the good thing about this site is it's built on the WordPress site. So without having to engage a coder or developer, I can put it into my WordPress site just very quite easily. So the way to do this is to go to the back end, the behinds of my WordPress site. If you have used WordPress before, it's really simple. If you have not used WordPress before, just watch for now, and I think it's quite easy to understand. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to one of these settings here called Insert Headers and Footers within my WordPress site. This is a plugin that allows me to put a code into my website. All right, I'm going to click on that, and I'll be brought here. Right, so you can see that right now I have all these scripts. I'm just going to delete off and assume that we're going to start from fresh. So right now, scripts in header is basically where we put our code into the header of our website. So when our website loads, the header will load first, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my analytics, copy this code here. It's a JavaScript tag. Don't worry about it. Don't understand it. Never mind, just copy it. Go back to your header code here in your WordPress site, copy, paste there, and then click on save. That is it, right? That is it. So what's going to happen right now is when I go back to analytics, okay, I'm going to go back to my left bar. You can see this left bar that is minimized right now. I'm going to go into real time. You see real time and overview. Okay, so right now there's nobody on my site. Okay, now I'm going to test if this works by going to the site myself and to see if I hit one number there. So basically, I'm going to go back to my site and I'm just going to go and visit the site. All right, so I'm here. I'm visiting the site as a normal user, browsing around. Let's see if I see this in my analytics account. Boom, there you go. There's one, right? So we have one visitor. The second one probably is someone here, I do not know, who is visiting the site right now. You can see that this person is in Petaling Jaya. That's where I am. All right. So you can see that I'm looking at the homepage. A slash means I'm on the homepage. So you know that your analytics right now is working. Now I see more people coming in from Ipoh as well. You see that? So this is how you know that if you have connected analytics with your website itself. I'm going to show you a second way before I stop for a quick Q&A session for up to now. So what I'm going to do is, maybe you have a WordPress website, right? You have that MailChimp site that I've taught you how to build in the earlier sessions. So let's say you have that. How do you go connect your landing page on MailChimp to Google Analytics? All right, so I'm here. If you have gone through the earlier sessions, you understand what's going on here. So I'm not going to repeat it again. I'm going to go inside campaigns. And you can just refresh here, right? I have a landing page inside this campaign, right? Which is this Gym Buff Boys. Remember that? Which I didn't make any changes. It's still here. So what if you want to just track Google Analytics on this site itself? Really simple as well. What we can do is go back to our analytics. All right. Now we're going to go down to admin. Do you see that admin here? Admin down here. I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to go back into my tracking info in the middle here. Tracking info. That's my IC. Remember? IC. Click on that. And then I can go and click on tracking code. Now, once I click on that, you can see that I have my IC, identity card here, and then the JavaScript tag. Now, for MailChimp, it's much simpler because you already have things built in. So we're going to just collect this tracking ID, copy that, go back to my MailChimp account. I'm going to click on edit this landing page, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down all the way. If you have done this, you'll know. And we have setting and tracking. So I'm going to edit this, right? And then you can see that we have an option called track with Google Analytics. So click check mark there and just paste in your IC inside here. All right. And then click on save. That's it. You have connected this page, right, with Google Analytics. So when someone clicks on your landing page and views the landing page, you basically see and be able to track that someone has gone into this page in real time. All right. Now, because I've connected two different sites, you see this as slash because it's actually not correct to do this. I shouldn't actually connect the same analytics account to a different website. But this is how you connect analytics with a landing page or with a WordPress website in a very simple to understand way. So how does Google Analytics track data? You might have this question right now. How do they track data? How do they know that someone's in their data? How do they know that a user has came to your site and is going to visit again, right? How do they know that this user is an existing user? Now, what is known, how Google Analytics track data is known as the page tagging method. Let me just write this down so you know by heart, yeah? So how Google Analytics data collects data is called page tagging, all right? So the way it works is you have your computer, right? Let me just draw this. You have your computer here, this guy. This is you, okay? So what happens is when you type in www.thelead.io and click on enter, right? What's going to happen is you send a request to a server somewhere. A server is basically a physical, like exabytes basically, right? You send a request to exabyte server, and the server sends back data to your computer, and you see that coming out on your screen. All right, so that's all good, yeah? So what happens is Google Analytics is a small script that you put inside that web browser here, a small script that you put inside your website, and it sends off to a separate service, which is Google Analytics, and that's how it collects data. So when we talk about JavaScript tags earlier, right, you might have heard of this term itself. If you use Facebook before, you might heard of the term called pixel, the Facebook pixel. Have you heard of someone saying, oh, the Facebook pixel, oh, the Facebook pixel? Now the pixel is a JavaScript tag. They are the exact same thing. The same thing, a pixel is a JavaScript tag is a pixel. All right, so what we have just pasted inside our site is in fact a pixel, right? It's also known as a web beacon. Some people call it tracking pixel. Some people call it 1x1 GIF, and some people mistakenly call it cookie, which is not the right term, but you can think of it as a cookie as well. Okay? Anyway, I don't want to confuse you, but basically this one you got to understand how it tracks data and basically what we have done inside our website earlier. All right, I think that's pretty clear. All right, let's move on. So cookies are not your physical cookie, all right, but they are small files which are stored in your browser. So when you visit a site, that JavaScript code in Google Analytics actually puts in a small little cookie into your browser, and it identifies you as a user. So the next time when you come back to the site itself, the site will be able to identify that you came back again because you have that same cookie, and identify that you is a repeat user. Now, you probably have done like clear cookies on your browser before. Have you done that before? Clear passwords and cookies. When you clear password and cookies, Google Analytics will see you as a new user this time. They won't be able to track you again. All right, so it's a good habit to actually clear your cookies. So cookies are basically these things. You have a tracking code there. They put in a cookie, which is basically a small file that actually tracks who you are and where you go on the internet. All right, so cookies are basically those things that are created from these pixels and JavaScript tags. All right. So how does Google Analytics tracking work? Very simple. Again, we have your. Let me just draw this here. We have your JavaScript, your site here, right? You put in your Google Analytics tag inside there. When someone visits a site, a cookie is stored in your browser, as I've explained earlier, right? Now, when that user comes back again, the code checks for that cookie and determines if they are new. If this cookie is new or returning user. Okay? So yes, actually, if a user clears a cookie, the analytics data does not disappear. It does not disappear, but Google Analytics will see this user as a new user, right? Now, my next slide explains this. So in Google Analytics, you have two columns. You have the user and new user. So how do they actually track this? It's based on cookies. Right? If a user comes back again holding the same cookie, that is an existing user. If not, that's a new user. Thanks. I got my drink now. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, now cookies is good or bad for us? To answer that, cookies is good for marketers and advertisers. Cookies is bad for end users. All right, for end users, cookies means that people can start tracking you and start retargeting you. For example, have you gone to a site like Lazada, look at maybe a phone, and then quit Lazada, go back to Facebook, and begin to see all the ads coming out with all these phones coming out, targeting you? That is the work of cookies, right? In that sense, cookies are bad, right? In that sense, cookies are bad because it's intrusive. They know who you are, so they can show you the ad again and show, right? Now, cookies are good in a way that when you visit a site, right, it loads everything up, the pictures, the images, everything. The next time when you visit the site again, the site remembers you and shows you things you want to see. For example, maybe you go to Lazada and you put in your your username, your card, right? And you put in a few. Okay, good example. You go to Lazada, you add a few things to your card itself. You escape Lazada. 3 days later, you go back to Lazada, your card is still there for you. How does that work? That is cookies. The cookie remember that you came back and know that you put in 3 items into your cart itself. Now, this means this works if you don't actually log into their Lazada account, right? If you log into Lazada, that is beyond cookies, so that's because they know your account already, lah. Yeah. But some sites you have seen before, you put in some, maybe add to cart a few things, you go away, come back, the card is still there. Now that gives you good experience. So you don't have to actually re-put in your card itself. So that's a good cookie experience. Now, how long the cookie remember you? Different cookies has different lifetime. So for like Facebook Pixel, I think I don't know the real number. You can go Google it and find it. I think it's 90 days. For Google Analytics, it remembers you forever. All right, forever. Google Analytics remembers everyone forever until someone clicks on remove their cookies. All right. Now, some cookies only last a day. Some cookies last 90 days. Some last 60 days. For Google Analytics, it's forever. Cookies are not bookmarks. It's different thing. All right, moving on. So that's how this basically when you to understand what cookies are and basically how they work. Okay. Now, something new about cookies is a lot of browsers like Safari, the one on Mac, the one on Mac. You can use on Windows as well. Safari has dropped the use of third-party cookies. That means when you use a Safari browser, you see less of these ads because they cannot put cookie and this doesn't save cookies into your browser. All right. Now, something to know is that Google is also looking to drop cookies. All right. Google Chrome, you use Google Chrome, right? Google Chrome is also looking to drop cookies. And that is bad for the advertising industry because Google Chrome does not need cookies to understand who you are. Most people have a Google account. Most people have a Gmail account. They know already who you are without needing cookies anymore. All right.